Well, hey everybody, it's me, Mike Alley, and you are back with the Concert Spot Live. It's another Wednesday, just after 3 o'clock, and we're happy that you're with us. If you've not been with us before, the Concert Spot's part of 48 Live. We are a concert promoter, but during this time, well, we're doing like everybody else is. We're kind of hanging out in our offices and at home. So we thought we'd bring you some of your favorite artists, talk a little about tour life, what it's like to be on the road and behind the scenes and backstage. And I'm excited about our guest today. But first, let me tell you about how you can connect with us. We'd love to hear from you. You can follow us on all of our social media. It's very simple and very easy. We are at The Concert Spot everywhere. So we're on Facebook. We are on Twitter and Instagram. Hey, we're even cool like a TikTok, but I don't know why, but anyway, so you can follow us there. You can also head over to our website. We're at theconcertspot.com. And when you do that, sign up to be an insider. So back when we start doing shows again, you'll be able to get emails directly that get you pre-sale passwords and other cool things that we do throughout the year. And again, that's over at theconcertspot.com. Oh, and I forgot our YouTube channel too. We're Concert Spot there too. You can find us and subscribe there. So anyway, all right, well, let's get going. I'm very excited about our guest this week. He has been the lead singer of the amazing group Sidewalk Prophets since its inception. He's their founder, and he's not only an amazing singer, but he also just has, well, I'll get into that in a minute, a special connection that the two of us have, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But let's bring him on. David Frey from Sidewalk Prophets. Hey, man.
Hey, I heard you say that I'm the Alexander Hamilton of Sidewalk Prophets. I appreciate that.
Now, have you done a cover of that? You do a bunch of covers.
I haven't because I can't. It would take some time. I think I can rap that fast, but it would take some serious time. So
I just watched that this last week and totally blown away by it, man.
I'd never seen it before. I'm a musical fan. I love so many music. Les Mis is still my favorite, but I think King George spitting all over the place was definitely a highlight for me. So I loved it.
Well, and then it was brilliant because we're watching it and I'm going, why? I feel like I know that guy's voice.
Yeah.
I can place it. And then I realized it's the dude who played Kristoff in the Frozen movie.
It's Kristoff, man. He loves reindeers and, spitting on stage. It's a fantastic thing.
That's it. And it's brilliant. Well, David, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a few minutes today. And like I said, you and I, and of course, share a love of music, share a love of concerts. But more importantly, for right now, I should say that for the first time in, I think, the 4 or 5 years I've been a part of it, I'm actually ahead of you by 5 points in our fantasy Premier League soccer league.
That's because I forgot Premier League came back. Oh. I haven't been able to do anything since I have a new baby in the house. And I'm going to reclaim that here pretty quick. Thanks for reminding me.
I don't know, dude. There's not much left. So David and I are both big soccer fans, especially Premier League in England. Who's your team?
I love my dad. When I was a little boy, went to London, and he took a trip to Chelsea, and he brought me back a Chelsea jersey. So from then on, my brother and I have been Chelsea fans, and they're doing pretty well this year. But Liverpool is pretty stacked. So
that's it for sure. So all right, well, I could talk football with you all day, but we want to talk a little bit about kind of life on the road. And of course, as I said, you've been the lead singer, the number one for Sidewalk Prophets since its inception. You founded it. And so talk a little bit about especially those early years. I mean, you guys are to the point now where, not of course right at the moment, but you're out on the bus, you're traveling the country, doing that kind of thing. But what was it like getting started? What were you just doing local stuff, or were you out doing regional? Were you hopping in the van and pulling all-nighters?
Yeah, all the time. The van was our home, and we called our van Van Go, and we thought that was clever. And for 10 years, more like 12 or 13 years, even like some of the winter jams, even after we got signed to a record label, we still were in a van traveling thousands upon thousands of miles in a van, driving ourselves. And I think that was a rare occasion at the time. But we started in a dorm room in Anderson, Indiana at college, and our very first show, my buddy Ben, came up and asked me to put down the Nintendo controller. Let's write some songs. So we wrote some songs, and they had this thing where the dorm room, each level of the dorm room competed. We were on the 4th floor, and so we took our song to the Smith Hall Olympics was the name of it, and we won. It was like it all came down to that event. It was the last event of the whole Olympics, and because we won, we procured free pizza and root beer kegs for our floor, and we became somewhat of heroes for at least 40 people, and then that spread all over campus that these heroes had delivered pizza and root beer with their amazing songs, and yeah, it was back in the days of Napster, so we just sent everything was free. It was the Wild West. We sent our songs all out all out for people to download, and started hearing them in the girls' dorms, which is a great place to hear your songs coming out of the windows, and you're like, this is good, but it was great, man. We played everywhere, anywhere we could. Coffee shops with like 3 people in them. We played tons and tons and tons of church camps all over the country. And just anywhere they would have us, and just trying out our songs, as well as playing whole lots of Chris Tomlin. And at the time, the song "Take It All" by Hillsong, take it all, was it, and I couldn't stand it, but we sang it probably 3,000 times. But yeah, I hope to never sing that one again. But my favorite were when we got to cover the David Crowder songs, because they're still legit. So
for sure. So I'm gonna musical nerd out here for a minute. So you said the thing about winning the dorm championship. Yeah. Should I liken that to the Mercyhurst talent show in That Thing You Do?
Absolutely, it was 100%. In That Thing You Do, they talk about Vicksburg and or something like that. Yep. Like, that was it. We were like the kings of Vicksburg, not Pittsburgh, Vicksburg. I think that was those were the times, man. We were the heroes for the select few dudes that lived on the 4th floor of Smith Hall, and it felt pretty good. Top of the world.
So you get from the van, and as you do move up and you're playing bigger stuff and you get signed and moving forward from there, you move into bus life. What is that like for you? Do you enjoy bus life?
It was, in comparison, it is infinitesimally better, if that's a word. Infinitesimally better. Every time I get complaining about the bus, even when it breaks down, all these things, I still have to realize I am not in a van anymore. And that is the biggest blessing in the history of mankind. Van life, you're driving yourself. There are no shocks. The AC often doesn't work. You move up to a bus and it feels like you've made it to the mansion. And even though our bus is old, it was the American Idol tour bus back in the day. And so like Kelly Clarkson, Clay Aiken, they rocked on that bus. But it's seen better days. But it's still home, it's still our broken in home, and sometimes broken home. But we are grateful to have the 12 bunks in the bus. We have a hangout place in the back lounge, and a microwave and a couple small refrigerators. So I mean, you can bring your coffee. Like a few of us are coffee snobs, and we got our Chemex and our beans, and so it feels homey. It feels like a home. Whereas the van, you just stuffed burritos wherever you could, and you went to work.
Sometimes you laid on the burritos.
I did. One time I found one underneath my pillow, and the bean sauce had gotten everywhere. And then you just, you clean as best you can, but it's not going to get clean.
That's it. It's going to be there forever. Yep. So, are you a late night stay up talking guy on the bus, or are you an early morning get up guy?
I'm definitely, well, now that I have a son, I'm not sure because we haven't been on the bus yet, but I am definitely a late night owl. I was made, like, I would fight sleep, and so does my son. He thinks he's gonna miss out if he closes his eyes, and it's just like his dad. And I always, even when I was in high school or middle school, elementary school, I would try to stay up later than I should. And 10 o'clock, I'd come downstairs, and my parents would shoo me back up. But ever since then, my whole family's a bunch of night owls, and we stay up way too late. My wife has tried to teach me it's good to be up, at least up, heading to bed around 10. Usually it's more like 11 or midnight for me, but yeah, I love and when you play a show, you're on that high, and so it's hard to just go right to bed, and so you need to wind down, have some fun with the guys, and enjoy the stories too. That's one of my favorite parts of tour life.
David, you talked a little bit already about family and the new baby. So let's talk about that a little bit. What is that? You were single and on the road for a long time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's a woman in your life, and now a new baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I've yet to, oh, there's little William, but I've yet to experience what it is to have to go away from my son and my wife, to be honest. I did, we went on a West Coast tour, and it was the first tour that my wife was not on with us because she did our merchandise for us. And Harmony's our merchandise manager, and was amazing. And that was great. The first couple years of our marriage, we did life together. And even though we felt like ships in the night a lot of times, I'd help her set up the table. We'd have lunch, and then she would go do her thing. I would go sound check, get showered, and then go do my thing, and maybe not see each other again until around midnight. We at least had that time. And so I've yet to fully dip my feet into what it's like to be on the road without my family. So I'm kind of grateful in the fact that I get to come home to my wife and son. We've been doing these virtual tours from Nashville, and I get to do a show and then come home, and it's kind of surreal and beautiful in a lot of ways. And but yeah, life on the road without, missing my son growing up. There was a guy that came out with us last tour named Garrett Hornbuckle, and he's incredibly talented. And he had a daughter that was 2 weeks old, and he left her for a month. So by the time he got home, she was 3 times older than when he left. And that right there, that's some heroism, man, to leave your 2-week-old little baby girl. And more importantly, his wife is a hero because she had to go through all that without him. But to do that for the Lord, man, that's sacrifice. And I give major props to Garrett.
Yeah. Well, Lou says congrats on
Yeah.
the little one, and a blessing even if you are getting up in the middle of the night.
Oh, all the time. And I'm a night owl, so I'm kind of born for that. My wife can do the early morning stuff, and I can stay up late if need be. I can tap in. So thanks, Lou.
Yeah, that is. So you guys have had you and Harmony had a little different relationship in the sense that you had already been doing this. So she kind of knew, like, getting involved with you and then getting married and getting on the road, that this was what it was going to be like, as opposed to, oh, hey, you've been married, you've been together for a while, and then something happens, and then all of a sudden you're out on the road. Right. Have you guys had conversations about, like, what this is going to look like coming out of COVID and being back on the road?
Yeah, we've had a lot of those, even before we thought it was going to happen. And the cool thing, Lou had a little Winter Jam logo as his little post, but that's where we met. My wife met me backstage at Winter Jam, and it's just this surreal story of how God brought us together. But yeah, she knew from that time that this has been my calling, and she just come alongside and be a part of it. But also, it's super excited not to have to be on the road anymore after those couple years. We talked about the balance of it all. And I think that balance is what we always strive for in life. Anything too good or anything too bad, and it becomes bad. And so I think that finding the right amount of dates, the right amount of shows, was always on the docket for us. And especially if we were going to be gone. We went for a month straight. I think it was 32 days that we were gone in February. And then we were gone from February all the way through the beginning of March, right until the NCAA tournament got canceled. Then we came home not knowing that COVID was about to cancel everything else in general. But we had been gone for a month straight. And when we got back, Ben and I, Ben's our manager, he's like, that's it. That's the last time we're ever going to go that long, because that's too long. So you got to find that balance. I think a couple weeks is about the limit, where you're gone for a couple weeks straight without going home for at least a few days. But yeah, we've been having those talks. Big Daddy Weave has a great system that we've, talked about with them. They do like 12 days on and 12 days off. And Casting Crowns, they're home every Sunday. That's the coveted, you got to be home on the Sabbath and do their work at their churches. And they work so hard too. So I think having those friends in the industry pour into us, hey, what has worked for you guys? Nobody's the same, but it helps to have that wisdom behind you.
Let's get off onto something that a lot of people ask about and have asked me about over the years when we're out doing concerts, and that really is the stuff that happens behind the scenes, the things that happen, backstage, without giving any particular locations or
Sure.
embarrassing anyone, do you have a story of like the worst backstage you walked into and you went,
Oh yeah.
why am I here?
It's easy, and I kind of want to say the name, but we were somewhere in the South, and in an arena named for an entertainer, and we on Winter Jam, our first Winter Jam, were the 13th or like 12th band. I think it was they had like 12 bands that year. Usually it's 10. Not they had 12 that year, and we were 12. You were at number 12, and we, and I mean, no, listen, Winter Jam does the best they can to assemble and take care of 12 bands. But we were in the last dressing room, and it happened to be they were going through renovations, and so they thought the dressing room was done. I don't know how much I can share, but I'm going to. You can cut it out. It's live, right? We can cut it out.
Sure.
There was a urinal in our room, and when you flushed the urinal, it came flying out the back of the urinal in a different room. And
no.
Our drummer was reading. I think he was reading the Bible. Like he was doing his devos in this room, and all of us. And luckily, he was not in the room that the flush goes through. He was the room next to it. And all of a sudden, like he hears this whoosh and the splatter all over, and he turns his head. And he's like, "What just happened?" And then he went back to reading, and somebody used the bathroom again and flushed it. And he's like, "Whoa, dudes, come check this out!" And it was like, it became fun. It became like a water park for us. Like we would film it, like, "Hey, go flush that!" Boom, and then we posted it to YouTube, and instantly the arena that we were in, they said, "You better take that down." They'd been given money to renovate, and it wasn't quite done yet, and so we took it down out of respect. But that was a lot. It was the most fun and disgusting thing. One of the most disgusting things I've ever been a part of. But it was.
There you go. Worst water park ever.
Worst water park ever.
Oh,
That's a good way to put it.
It's so many jokes that are running through my head now that I'm not going to mention. So, hey, when you're out on the road, for you, what is like the normal day like for you? Are you a first off the morning bus guy? Do you like get up and I'm like, hey, I'm, after the crew guys are setting up, bang, I'm out there, I'm checking things out? Or do you like, you know what, I'm hanging on the bus doing my thing, and then I'm gonna come out later? Yeah,
usually I'm up before the crew. No, God will strike me dead if I keep that. No, I am usually the second to last or third to last, because our bass player likes to stay up late, and he's more like put together and like organized, and then he'll sleep in and then get up and do his job. And then our lead guitarist usually comes in maybe at lunchtime, a little bit later than that. And but I'm somewhere in there. Usually about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning. I love to arise and get my Chemex going, and like just see if we missed any news. There's a lot of times on the road where you're disconnected, and you're in your own bubble. You're not watching TV on the road. Our bus had a TV, and a bird kamikaze died into our satellite dish, so we don't get TV on the road, which is okay. It makes us hang out with each other more. But in that moment, I do my devos in my bunk before I roll out of bed, and then I roll out of bed, make sure that I'm not needed for anything else, but and spend some time, having those devos, having some coffee, and catching up on the news, and then I'll come in and see how things are going. But it's usually a pretty. When my wife was on the road, though, I would wake up earlier and try to help her set up the merch. But now we have a dude that's doing our merch, so I don't have to help out.
Let him go do his thing, Yeah,
and then I can sleep in a little more. It's fantastic.
Right. That's a little different thing. So, David, you mentioned earlier you guys are doing something unique. You're doing virtual tours right now. Yeah. And so you're doing things where it's kind of geo-targeted around certain cities, and I know Washington D.C. is coming up in our area where we're kind of based in Baltimore. But you've got something, guys. You guys are doing something really special tomorrow night, and I know that we're going to be a part of it on the concert spot. So this is going to be an amazing performance tomorrow night.
Yeah, we were bummed big time coming back from this month on the road. Like I mentioned, we were out west, and we're driving home. And what we're driving home to is to rehearse and get ready for a week for our very first show at the Ryman Auditorium. And it was special, man. My buddy Ben, who's our manager, he's back here. There he is. But Ben had for years, this had been his dream. He got it all going to give away tickets so that our fans didn't even have to pay to be a part of this event. And within an hour, they were all gone. And so we had this packed show at a historical auditorium. You know, Johnny Cash, Martin Luther King Jr., I found out, had spoken there. Teddy Roosevelt, Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, come on, y'all. And so here we were in this litany of
the big ones, the big ones.
Yeah, big ones, right. Big ones. Martin Luther King, Weird Al, you know, and we were there, so excited, and it got canceled because of COVID. It happened, and it was almost an afterthought. Oh man, this could hurt our show. And then as it went, and all of a sudden the NCAA tournament's canceled. We're like, oh, this could really end our show, and we postponed it to July, and then now we know that it's still unsafe for everybody to come back, and it's heartbreaking when you think about it. So we thought, what would be the next best thing, and that is to invite not just the folks that were able to get tickets, but everybody in the country, everybody in the world on Facebook Live to have a night, because this was all about giving back to our fans. We wanted them to go for free. And so we thought, invite everybody, give it to them for free. This is the Great Big Family Reunion is what we're calling it, where we play at the Ryman Auditorium, and we live stream it out on Facebook, and, you know, give you the opportunity to be a part of the night. And it's going to be so much fun for sure.
Well, it's going to be great. And like I said, you can, of course, go to Sidewalk Prophets page for that. We're also going to be streaming it live on the Concert Spot. So we're just really excited. It's going to be fantastic to do that. We should also mention, you guys have a brand new project out.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're going to be playing some of the new stuff.
Not only are we playing some of it, we decided, even when we were going to play it back in March, we were going to play the Ryman. We thought, how cool would it be to prove we can play our album, and not just play our album, but play every song on the album. So we're playing our album front to back. And then, of course, if we don't play Words I Would Say and Live Like That and You Love Me Anyway, people will throw tomatoes at us, even at their screen. So we're going to play the hits as well. At the end, we call it The Things That Got Us Here is the name of our record. And then the songs that got us here are the hit songs, you know, that we play later on. And so we were going to have two acts, even at the Ryman Auditorium. And it's really, really neat. We got some incredible singers. We got a percussion player that kind of plays everything. He plays a dulcimer, he plays guitars, and so it kind of fills it out. But with those singers and with him, Lee added to our band, man, we got to play the album top to bottom, and it sounds so good. It's gonna be incredible, and I'm so excited to prove, like, this album we can play it front to back and with no extras at all, and it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic. And like I said, it's a great project.
Thank you.
You know, it's been, how long's it been? Has it been 5 years? Wow.
I had not met my wife,
but it's been 5 years.
Yeah, my wife I met 3.5 years ago. We got married, so 4.5 years ago I met her, and so I had not met my wife when our last record came out. That's crazy. I did not have a son. I did all these things that have happened over the course of writing this record. But I think that's what makes this record so great. It's been an absolute journey, and that's what this record is from front to back. It's like a big old journey through doubts and fears and joys and everything in between. And I'm so excited. 5 years is way too long. The next one's coming out next week. No, I'm just kidding. But we need to get another one out way sooner than 5 years. That's for sure. But really excited for people to hear what's been going on in our lives for the last 5 years.
Well, we are looking forward to that. As you mentioned, also our friends, of course, at Shine FM will be also streaming the concert as well on their Facebook page. So no matter where you are tomorrow night, you will see this concert from Sidewalk Prophets. Really looking forward to it. So, David, as we're wrapping up here, because we know that you do have a little one, and I know that you.
Well, I'm taking care of him now, but yeah. I just
want to thank you for being awake because of all this. But so we have something we call 5 questions. So kind of some shotgun questions about this. And so first out of the chute, other than your Bible and your phone, what is the one thing you don't go on tour without?
Oh, man. I have let's see. I'm thinking a phone charger. Does that count? Is that kind of a cheap answer though, because like there have been days when I forgot my charger at a venue, and it's just like, because then your phone's gone, and you're like, can I borrow yours? And they're like, nah, I gotta charge mine. And you're like, you become like that beggar, you know, and it's like, please, sir, and you become David Copperfield. But it's, you know, that's important. And there's those little things like the funniest one, a belt. That's important. Okay, when you take your pants, you better bring a belt. I can't tell you how many times I've had to run to Walmart and get a belt. And Cho, our road manager's like, bought me 3 belts and put them in the drawers so that when I forgot, inevitably he'd have one.
Hey, you know what? Us big guys, we understand that situation.
I have that belt. You know, I usually come on gym shorts in the bus. You going to bed. You know, you got your pajamas, and you're like, oh, I forgot my belt.
That is not good. All right. It's always a good day when I walk into catering and see what?
How about not pot roast? When it's not pot roast, it's gonna be a good day. I think maybe like Mexican tacos. You know, even the worst taco is better than maybe the best pot roast on tour that I've found. So yeah, tacos always bring joy. That's
need my team to write that down. No pot roast at Sidewalk shows.
Pot roast is a little rough, man, on the road.
So, so you've had a great day. It's been an easy morning. Load-in's gone great, and you've got the afternoon free. You're in a town you haven't been to. What, I think I know what this is, but what's your favorite offsite activity? You get to go out. What are you going to do?
I do it all. Like, I love going downtown. I love seeing it. I'm a tourist. I went to Camden Yards there in Baltimore last time. You know, when I had a chance, even if it was 3 innings of a baseball game, I will pay the money to go to a baseball game and see that stadium, just see the culture. I love walking through downtowns, whatever city I'm in. Even some of the smaller cities, you'll find some fun things. Man, we found the biggest statue of a bison somewhere in North Dakota that we were like, we got to check it out, man. Let's do it.
Because there wasn't anything else.
No,
so
it was cool.
Put up a big really statue of a bison.
It was majestic.
So when you're on the road, you got your ear pods in. What are you doing? You doing other music playlists? You doing podcasts? You doing audiobooks? Which one?
I only listen to Sidewalk Prophets.
Of course.
That would be terrible. No, I think for me, a lot of times in my bunk, I will have my headphones, and I usually will listen to a record. I love 21 Pilots is one of my favorite bands. I was mowing the lawn to them yesterday, and some of their newer stuff, but also all of it. But the other thing I do is I watch some Netflix, usually The Office, or in my bunk, like wind down. To be honest, I watch cartoons all the time. Now that I have Disney Plus, I will fall asleep watching DuckTales in my bunk. Like that's where it's at. Get my headphones on, watch some DuckTales, and go to bed.
Gotcha. And if you haven't had a chance, we just happened to find it the other day after, I think, watching Hamilton. Pixar in real life.
Yeah, I love it. The Wall-E one going down the street.
Shorts are crazy amazing what they've done with that. So check it out. Well, and finally, David, your favorite road snack.
Oh, that's a great question.
What do you got to have on the bus?
Man, for me, it's not cool. It's LaCroix. Like LaCroix, the drink, is always available, and I'm so grateful. Lime LaCroix is the kind of the standard, but I really like the new watermelon and the grapefruit. But that is the thing. Like beef jerky is another close second, and then there's they got chips and stuff and cereal in case we're on the road in the morning and want something to eat. But to me, if the bus has LaCroix and nothing else, I'm still okay. And also some good coffee beans. I bring my coffee beans from home on the road, and those two things work in tandem. In the morning it's the coffee, and then in the afternoons it's the LaCroix. So
I'm a coffee guy too. So I'll just ask because it's my show. What are you drinking right now?
Oh man, I have some. I was blessed. A good friend of ours, a fan, sent some Bali from Bali. It's pressed coffee from Phoenix, Arizona, and their Bali single source, as well as Ethiopian. Ethiopian is always my favorite. You can't go wrong having single source Ethiopian coffee, which makes me a total snob. I'm like the snobbiest coffee guy, and I never was that guy. I was never that guy, and now I am. Thanks a lot, lead guitarists over the years, for making me this.
I wasn't that way, and then you start drinking the good stuff, and you're like,
It's like, what is Folgers? This is garbage, and you feel so bad, but it is. Yeah,
you can't go back. By the way, our show today brought to you by Folgers. No,
no, sorry, Folgers. You're great. Put some cream in it, and then you're good.
Well, David, hey, again, thank you so much for your time today, and appreciate you taking a few minutes away from Harmony and William, but we appreciate it. We're looking forward to tomorrow night with the show from the Ryman on Facebook Live, and then, of course, your virtual tour coming up. Hit your website, of course, at Sidewalk Prophets for all the latest details on what you guys are doing, the new album out, everything. And then, of course, man, we just can't wait to see you in person again.
No doubt. We love you guys. We love, DC and all, all over the country. We miss traveling and seeing people face to face. And it's going to be a good day when that happens again. But until then, blessed to have these virtual opportunities, these Zoom calls, and see your face and let you know that you're going down in fantasy soccer. It's happening. Real fantasy football. We'll Dave will rise from the ashes, Yeah,
we'll see. All right. Hey, man, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Hey, well, that's it for this week of the Concert Spot Live. I want to thank you for being a part of our interview today and our time, and for chiming in. We're going to be back as we are every Wednesday at 3 o'clock with another great artist. In the meantime, hope that you will follow us on all the social media, get all the latest updates. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at The Concert Spot. You go over to YouTube, you can subscribe, and you can also see all these interviews again on YouTube on our channel there at The Concert Spot as well. In the meantime, you have a great week. Take care.